Somebody's gonna blow it because he's shooting.
In the sophomore rookie game, he leads this competition. Oh, no!
That is freaking right there. That is freaking. That's freaking. That is freaking. Oh, hell no. I don't think the throw in the air is going to do it. I don't think throwing it in the air.
Everybody's seen it.
Everybody's seen it. Never seen before. Oh, the steal by Bryant took it out of the hands of Kidd.
Here's Walter McCarty, J.R. Bremer, a good-looking rookie, and Paul Pierce for the Celtics. Blazers with Rasheed Wallace, Bonzi Wells, Dale Davis, Derek Anderson, along with Scottie Pippen. With John Thompson and Danny Ainge and Cheryl Miller, Kevin Harlan, great to have you with us. Danny, quickly, your assessment on the Boston Celtics.
Well, it's good news and bad news tonight. Paul Pierce is in the lineup, 267 consecutive games. They need his scoring. He leads this team in almost every category. No fatigue tonight. They were out-rebounded by 20 last time they met the Blazers, and he's homesick or at the hotel with 103 temperature.
John, the Blazers have won 14 of their last 17. Since mid-December, they've been terrific. They're a talented team, but they are also a troubled team.
Well, they're very tall, very talented, very emotional, and led by Scottie Pippen. Pippen is the key. If he can control these guys, Kevin, they're going to make a strong rush in the second half of the season.
Scottie Pippen has been absolutely spectacular during this wonderful stretch by the Portland Trail Blazers, who most recently have won 7 of 8, and they have been great. And let's swing it over to Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Well, Coach, I first agreed with what you said about Scottie Pippen and what he means to this Trailblazer team. Before the game, I asked him, what's the difference between this season compared to last? And he said the bottom line is his health. In the offseason, he got his right knee cleaned out, and he said finally he's healthy and he's able to play hard at both ends of the court. Kevin, all this at the tender age of 37.
Isn't that something else? Cheryl is playing great. Our officials tonight, Pat Frayer, Danny Crawford, and David Jones. And here we go in the capacity-filled Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon. It's Bonzi Wells against Eric Williams to begin it. And going inside for Dale Davis, who snuck in around Walter McCarty.
Well, that's out of the Celtics. Right away, they're attacking where they should. They're going inside. The Celtics have got to show up real big on the boards against this team.
And J.R. Bremer, who is a left-handed shooting guard out of St. Bonaventure with the miss. Here comes Scottie Pippen the other way, and Davis and Derek Anderson.
And you can see Antoine Walker is fronting Rasheed. He knows he can't guard him once he catches it. That opens up the baseline drive. No help as Derek Anderson drives down the baseline. And Boston is used to fronting. They're very small on the inside, like Coach said. Walter McCarty playing center against Dale Davis, and they got a big advantage, Portland does, in the paint.
Again, as Danny said, no Tony Petit tonight. Paul Pierce, the 4th leading scorer coming into tonight in the NBA.
Well, and the Celtics have to hit their shots, Kevin, because they're not going to get a lot of offensive rebounds against this team, and they will throw up a quick 3. The bad thing about shooting quickly with the three-point shot is that you don't have people in position to get offensive rebounds.
Bonzi Wells comes inside, and a Boston foul quickly called on Walter McCarty.
And we can see the front on Wallace right here. And Walker is so high because Wallace has it pinned up so high it opens up the baseline. Nobody there to help him. And the last time Bonzi Wells drives baseline right there and gets to the free throw line because the help has to come all the way from the weak side rather than just the post.
Here's Bonzi Wells, 73% from the free throw line. And when Rasheed Wallace, Danny, was out with that 7-game suspension, it was Bonzi Wells who was averaging 18 points, grabbing 9 rebounds a game, and a very big force for the Blazers.
Well, Bonzi becomes solely the guy that they go to exclusively without Rasheed in there. With Rasheed in there, they share that responsibility, a lot like Pierce and Walker do for the Boston Celtics.
And I think when Wallace went out of the game, also it reflected the depth of this team because Zach Randolph came in and gave him some great minutes.
Here's Pierce for 3, and this Boston team shoots more three-point shots than any other team in the NBA.
I guess I just came along about 15 years too early.
Inside, Rasheed Wallace.
Well, again, and that's it. You know, they overloaded one side to take away a lot of the offside help and then dropped it over the top. They may shoot the threes, but they better do a better job than that inside on Rasheed Wallace.
Here's Eric Williams, who has played for Boston, Denver. Now Boston again in his second stint. And inside flying his way, Antoine Walker, the 19th leading scorer in the NBA coming into tonight.
And Antoine's not 100%. You can see him kind of holding his knee right there after that shot. He bumped it, but his knee has not been right. And that's a big concern for the Celtics.
He has a grade 2 strain on that right knee, thus the brace. Oh, it's a football-looking type protective brace. Bonzi Wells hits the deck hard, hurting his shoulder, and Wallace with 3. Rasheed Wallace the other night against San Antonio went 0 of 5, shooting 3-point shots. He's holding on to his knee, and that time he nails one from downtown.
And Antoine Walker was grimacing. Danny is absolutely right. He was grimacing trying to get out of that. He definitely is experiencing some pain in that knee.
And a whistle with a foul inside. And it's on the Portland Trail Blazers. They put it on Wells for the first time.
Well, why you want to trap Brimmer all the way out to the three-point line and leave Pierce open at the three-point line? That is not very good defensive strategy. They need to make an adjustment right there. But they have such an advantage on the inside, Portland does. And Rasheed Wallace, you see his versatility. Him and Walker both will step out and take a lot of threes.
There's missing a 3 right there. And here come the Portland Trail Blazers down court. They have started 4 of 5. And a 3 by Wallace won't go with a rebound by Pierce. And here come the Celtics. They are 3 of 5. Good steal in the alley-oop. It's Anderson to Dale Davis.
Well, you got to take care of the ball if you're the Celtics also, because they're not going to get many extras out here. The threes have got to drop, and they'll shoot the threes quick. You got to take care of the ball, and you got to protect your defensive boards.
Oh, what a great play by Scottie Pippen, reaching in behind Paul Pierce with those long arms and great anticipation. And he's one of the top leaders in steals in the history of the game, and he's catching up to his coach, Maurice Cheeks.
Nice deflection by McCarty at the other end. Here comes the hobbled Antoine Walker from the University of Kentucky, and barreling his way down court. Pierce with the rebound and fouled as he went up. And it's on the Blazers again. And it goes on Derek Anderson, who picks up his first of the game.
Well, they get the rebound right here, and they start pushing it up. There's Pippen with those long arms, reach in from behind, and a beautiful pass by Derek Anderson. Dale Davis, the beneficiary of 2 easy opportunities off of the transition steals.
Here's Pierce, back to Walker, who participated in the 3-point shootout in Atlanta this past weekend. Bremer wheels across the lane, and Eric Williams, a +3 advantage on the glass to begin it for the Blazers.
Well, Anton Walker participates in a 3-point contest every night. The guy gets like 8 shots, like there's a rack of balls out there for him.
In the lane, Wells dishing to Pippen, into Dale Davis, the ex-Indiana Pacer. Wallace gobbled it up and slams it home.
Well, you like that. I mean, he's a good outside shooter, but you want to take advantage of your advantages, and that's when the Blazers are playing smarter. Even though Wallace is a good shooter, their advantage right now is the inside, and that's what he should be doing, posting and going to the boards and taking advantage of the offensive rebound.
Blazers have their biggest lead of 7. Here comes Paul Pierce. McCarty launching another 3 and buries that. He is a 37% 3-point shooter.
And that's the advantage. You know, when you have your center that can step out and shoot threes, you've got to have him make some of those, because he's going to lose the battle of the paint. And so you've got to take advantage and hope that he can make a few of those and stretch the defense.
Wells missing the 3, and the other way galloping is Walker. And has the mismatch on Derek Anderson, the double by Pippen, and the cross-court pass ending up with Pierce launching an open 3. And he knocks in his second from downtown tonight.
That's just horrible defense. I mean, you cannot leave Paul Pierce. I don't care if Antoine Walker's playing against Muggsy Bogues in the paint. You don't want to leave Paul Pierce for a 3-point shot.
So Pierce has 8, and Wallace has 7, and the Blazers throw it away right there. Blazers have their second turnover. Boston has 1 so far.
Well, we talk a lot about threes, but look at that. 7 more threes than Dallas and 9 more than Milwaukee.
Neither team makes a substitution. Boston's 11 field goal attempts have been 7 of 11 from 3-point territory. And they've gone 4 of 7, hitting those threes. Another 3. Walker from way outside.
Well, I love Walker's quote. They said, how come you shoot so many threes? He goes, because they don't have any 4s. That one right there was worth 3.5.
We've had 8 3-point hits between these two teams to begin the game. Ahead to Paul Pierce, working with a mild right strain of the groin, but showing no ill effects right there, and slides in for 2. He's got 10.
Well, and right now, the Blazers do not have their defensive rhythm in their half court or in their full court, because I'm certain Mo Cheeks is upset with the fact that they're just not extending their defense in the half court, and they didn't get back that time.
And Wallace has got 9 points, and he has started 4 of 5. Rasheed Wallace, the leading scorer, with 18 points a game.
But, you know, they're such a different team to play, Coach. They shoot so many threes. You know, it's hard to defend the Dallas Mavericks, the Milwaukee Bucks with their new small ball type of game. You know, these teams are just different. They're not conventional. You're used to giving some guys 3-point shots, but most teams in the league just don't jack them up with the confidence that the Celtics do.
Makes them fun to watch.
Well, but it also makes me wonder. It's the second half of the season. I can understand that in the first part of the season, but that's the trademark of the Celtics now. Now you make an adjustment and you come back. Mo Cheeks talked about the fact that he wanted to get out and stop them from making threes.
Eric Williams from the nice pass of Antoine Walker as you take a look at second-year head coach Mo Cheeks. He brings in his Blazers 32 and 17.
Well, Mo Cheeks has done a great job with this team. He's got some great veteran leadership, and Dale Davis and Scottie Pippen is like a coach on the court.
Oh, what a pass by Pierce, then back from Brenner. And Paul Pierce has got 12, and the Celtics open up their biggest lead tonight of 9. The Blazers have led by as many as 7.
And look at right there, they're trying to take advantage. They're very impatient in making the decision. The Celtics have given up a few easy opportunities early in this game, but are adjusting to the fronts, rotating quicker to the weak side.
Pierce right down the lane with a Portland foul as Paul took it right into the teeth of Mo Cheeks' defense.
Right here, they just attack the basket 3-on-1. Their defense, they're causing some turnovers, and Boston loves to score. They like to put pressure on teams with their gambling type of defense, playing the front and get out in the open court. Paul Pierce goes to the line as much as anybody in the league.
Dale Davis picks up his first personal foul. These are the first free throws by the Celtics tonight.
Well, this is what we talked about at the beginning of the game with the Blazers. They're not emotionally focused right now, Kevin. I mean, if you look at them right now, it's a certain rhythm that goes with a game defensively and offensively. They're looking at one another. As a result of poor defense, they're not even moving on the offense.
They bring in Vin Baker. They bring in Tony Belk, and the Boston Celtics lead at 26-16. The biggest lead. Here's Scottie Pippen getting a foul out of Paul Pierce.
You know what happens when you play in the NBA? You play against certain teams. Play against the Lakers. You're so used to defending a guy like Shaq in the paint. And they played the other night against San Antonio, who has, you know, Tim Duncan, who's a dominant player on that team. And you get playing, and all of a sudden you come the next night. No matter what you talk about in the scouting reports, basketball is a game of habits, and you're used to sagging off and turning your head and helping out and digging down on guys. And it takes a while sometimes in a game like this to adjust to that three-point line defense where they got all those shooters out there.
Interesting comment, John, by Paul Pierce the other day talking about this Blazer team. He says in what he has seen, he thinks that Scottie Pippen has been the difference for their turnaround. I think you think the same thing.
Well, I think he definitely has. And what's more important, I think the players deserve a lot of credit. We talk about their emotional attitude is they've responded to Scottie, and I think that that's very important. Cheryl said in the opening that Scottie is healthy. I mean, he's enthusiastic, but the players are responding to him.
19-2 Boston Celtic run as Delk tried to go inside. They go to Anderson at the other end, banged by Walter McCarty, who picks up his second personal foul. Well, so far, 3 has been very apparent. The Trailblazers have hit 1-3. The Celtics have hit 5 3-point shots. They have gone 5 of 9 to start this game.
He gave a simple ball fake. He penetrated to the basket. He took advantage of the extended defense that time.
Scottie Pippen just picked up his first foul. And Arvydas Sabonis has checked in for the first time, taking the place of Bonzi Wells. Dale Davis is out. And they also bring in Ruben Patterson, who is an energizer off the Mo Cheeks bench.
Well, I like the substitution. You know, you think Sabonis doesn't fit in a game like this, but I think with Portland's depth and size, that's where they have the advantage. Boston's loving the fact that they're shooting a lot of three-pointers. They got to wear them down with their size and depth.
8 turnovers. Pierce again, careening inside off one Blazer body after another. 18 first quarter points.
Kevin, the Blazers again are not guarding the threes, and then they're not getting back in transition. transition. You can't give them the easy layup in transition and also not pick up at half court.
9 Portland turnovers.
And points in the paint. And most of those are coming in transition and off of rotation. Double teams down low or double teams on pick and rolls. Getting the Blazer defense to rotate and then taking advantage of the ability to knock down the threes.
Inside to Williams. His layup is in. Great feed. Jeff McGinnis has now come in for the first time for the Blazers. And 70% shooting for the Boston Celtics, who lead at 35-17 and a 22nd timeout taken. This is the most first quarter points allowed by Portland this season, 35.
Now they're making Portland's defense just look awful, and we know better than that. We know Portland is a good defensive team, long and athletic. Beautiful pass by the two veterans, posting up Williams down there. LeGrant Long, beautiful feed. Oh, they're getting everything, Coach. They're getting drives, they're getting the free throw line, they're getting post-ups, they're getting their open threes. They're just getting anything they want right now.
Well, Portland's playing like they're in a daze. They have to come out of this. That's why Mo called the timeout, to get them over there, probably to get them energized a little bit. But they look like they're disinterested almost.
So after the Portland timeout, they are ready. The rebounding in the game is now seeing Boston, that trailed by a handful early on, +1 in that rebounding category. Here's McGinnis, free agent from the Los Angeles Clippers, whose playing time has gone way down. And it's Sabonis, picked up by Vin Baker. Rebound by Williams.
You know, as is the case in most instances, your offense reflects your defense. Now, because they're playing well offensively, Boston has become far more aggressive defensively, and they're getting out, getting steals, and they're making stops.
Boston has hit their last 6 shots. Here comes Pierce outside. Oh! Paul Pierce is an assassin! 20 points in the first quarter. He's playing like the all-star that he is.
Holy cow. I was talking to Tommy Heinsohn last night. Tommy Heinsohn, the old Celtic who's seen them all. He thinks that Paul Pierce is the best offensive player the Boston Celtics has ever had. And I questioned that a little bit, but I'll tell you what. Paul Pierce. Mike Burch used to work with Tommy Heinsohn. One of the great offensive players in his day. Old teammate of Coach Thompson's.
And he's a guy that didn't throw many passes either. If he says that Paul Pierce is a good offensive player, he's a good offensive player.
Pierce just picked up his second foul. They'll send him to the bench and bring in Shamon Williams. And Antoine Walker is going to check in as well for the final 60 seconds, and he'll take the place, I think, yeah, he will, of Eric Williams. So the Celtics are shooting 71%. Pierce has started 8 of 10. They've knocked down 5 of 9 threes, and they have forced 9 Portland turnovers. As Derek Anderson hits it, Pierce is outscoring Portland all by himself, 20-19.
I mean, he's having an unbelievable quarter right now, and I know that he's had these kind of moments, but with his shooting percentage, only shooting 41%, 29 from the three-point line, I can't say he's a better offensive player than Larry Bird yet.
Look at a bad wheel and all, one spinning, deceptive move after another. A great play by Antoine Walker.
Antoine scores in so many ways. He's so difficult to guard because you have to defend him all the way out, as we saw, 8 feet behind the three-point line.
It's Sabonis getting it. O'Brien of Boston.
And these are the guys I always hated guard, Coach. They're just wild. They don't even know what they're doing. Now Pierce lets it go, gives him a little bump, but gets caught putting the hand on the shoulder on the rebound. But Patterson is so wild, you don't even know what he's going to do. And those are the guys that are the scariest guys to play against. But that is huge for the Blazers, getting Pierce in foul trouble.
Eric Williams will come in and take his place.
Well, Eric Williams is also one of those kind of guys like Ruben Patterson. He's a tough guy that penetrates, grabs holes, and plays aggressively.
Here's Jeff McGinnis. Of those 3 point guards with Pippen, and we haven't even seen David Stoudemire. Ruben Patterson from outside in the NBA.
Well, they got it out of everybody off the bench. McGinnis, Sabonis, we see the first one. Ruben Patterson gave him unbelievable energy and even a few bucks. But Sabonis doing a good job on the inside with his tippy-toe block shot and the one-hand don't-look outlet pass. But great energy, and Zach Randolph, a nice job on the block as well.
There they are. That group right there was absolutely spectacular. And now the second half, Paul Pierce had 3 fouls, and that has got to be a concern, but he basically starts anew now here in the second half.
Well, and that creates a problem because in the Celtics, a lot of their confidence left with Paul Pierce. His shooting is contagious, and it causes other people to shoot well. But obviously, when he went out of the game, the other guys didn't even shoot the ball as well.
Oh, the other night in Seattle, only 27 points in the second half when Pierce left. So they got to find some other guys to step it up and score.
Get that bad groin. Let's go to Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Well, Coach Cheek said obviously in the first quarter they came out a little bit flat. Second quarter, better intensity, better defensive effort. That's what he wants to see in the second half. Transition defense. Also in the half-court offense, because Boston likes the front in the post, if they swing the ball around, they can get the shots. And he certainly said, like you guys did, it certainly helped having Paul Pierce in foul trouble.
And through the first half, here are some of the numbers with the individual scores. Look at how that scoring is spread out on the Portland side of the ledger.
A lot of contributions over there. And they wore him down. Got to the free throw line 19 times versus 5 by Boston, and beat them on the boards, which you would expect. So if they can just continue to wear them down through the course of the game with their size, that's Portland's advantage.
Well, and I like the strategy that Cheeks is talking about. Swing it and jump it in. Get it to the high post, dump it in. Force Boston to play interior defense, which they're at a disadvantage at doing.
Paul Pierce is back in out there with Walter McCarty, who's in some foul concern. Eric Williams with the ball. Rookie J.R. Bremer and Antoine Walker. Shot clock at 6. McCarty to Bremer. Down the lane and puts up a floater. And he hammers his way into that defense of Portland and draws the offensive foul. And the rookie has his first tonight.
Well, good play right there by Bonzi Wells. But Bremer, he's a strong, tough, built, solid guy. He's a fullback running through that middle, and then Bonzi's feeling it right there in the abdomen. He'll do some sit-ups.
Undrafted player for this team.
Yeah, and
he's a free agent.
Well, a great scorer out of St. Bonaventure. They like his toughness, his defense, and they think that he'll have the ability to create his own offense as he matures as a player.
Pippen to Wallace. Foul inside on the Blazers. It's on Rasheed Wallace, whose technical fouls are down, but whose temper, John, as you well know, can explode at any time.
Well, he expresses himself, Kevin. That's all.
Is that what you say?
A unique way of expressing himself.
Great pass. Walker to Paul Pierce. Shot clock down to 6. Dancing with Pippen. And lost him on the defensive end, but couldn't make the shot. Pippen has not taken a shot tonight. And Dale Davis, again, who is getting great looks at the basket. Dale Davis has put in 6.
And Bonzi set that up for him. And I love to see that. Anytime a guard or forward penetrates, gets his big guy an uncontested shot in the lane like that, defense was nowhere nearby because they went after the penetration.
Paul Pierce. Rebound by Scottie Pippen. Anderson to Wells. To Rasheed Wallace, who rocks the rim with a two-handed sledgehammer. He's got 16.
And all they're getting right now, all those shots that were going in the first half, like you said, Coach, they're not going in right now. They're just running isolations, a lot of standing, no offensive rebound opportunities, and it's just they're hoping Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker are going to make those shots.
Walker throws it away. Turnover number 9 for the Boston Celtics. There's Pippen, like you said, shockingly, has not taken a shot in the 14 minutes he has played tonight. And over the last 3 games, he's been averaging about 20 points a game. Another Portland turnover there.
Well, you know, Kevin, and that's a tribute to his leadership, too, because Scottie has accomplished an awful lot in this league. He knows he's good offensively, but he's trying to get other people going and give his team some energy and some leadership.
Pippen also doesn't have any assists tonight. Go inside to Davis. That time the assist goes to Derek Anderson, the ex-San Antonio Spur, Clipper, and Cleveland Cavalier.
It's amazing. Works so hard for every point. I mean, the defense is just smothering him and Antoine Walker, forcing the other guys to make the shots.
Well, and the smart thing, Danny, about the Blazers now, they started the game like they didn't know who Paul Pierce was. I mean, they left him open. He was shooting shots, but now they're running at him. They're doubling him. They're trying to force him to cough it up.
Eric Williams picks up his 3rd personal foul, and a technical foul is blown on Rasheed Wallace. He gets a tee right there, and they try to settle him down. They try to put water on the coals. And of course, he has a notorious emotional streak that can work in his advantage as much as John can work to his disadvantage.
What I love about it, though, is Ruben Patterson's trying to calm down Rasheed Wallace.
That is sweet. Fire trying to put out fire. But the thing that's got to happen, though, particularly a lot of times when you rush to a guy like that, you accentuate what's going on. You know, you got to sometimes just say something to him, walk away from him, and let him just calm down on his own. That just makes it even look worse sometimes when your teammates dramatically go up to you.
Tony Delk is in place of Pierce. Great fake and a nice drive down the lane by Dale Davis. He's now got 8 in the quarter and 12 for the game.
Well, you know, and all these problems still come with Boston's offense. I mean, the defense is not great, and they have a size disadvantage, but they've got to find ways to score points.
Delt. Walker has 9 points. Walker's averaging 21 a game. Another Boston turnover. They got 11 for the game, 17 for the Blazers in this second half. 4 turnovers alone for the Celtics in the first, 6 minutes or so of this third quarter. Paul Pierce getting ready to come back in for the Celtics.
Well, he's recognizing this game is going to be lost here pretty quick. He can rest Paul Pierce in the fourth quarter after Portland opens it up a little bit more.
And the Blazers are definitely trying to go inside, and successfully so.
Pippen dumps it off in 7 points a game, and tonight he's got 14 points and has been a star. Eric Williams picks up his 4th foul.
Well, right here, you got to pay attention to Scotty, but they run, and there's Walter McCarty. I think that's a bad double team. Make Scotty Pippen make that shot right there. It's a little 8-foot jump shot. Make him make those shots. Don't give up the easy baskets. They don't have enough big people in there to defend the paint if they're going to double team the median post.
John, right now we're tied. If he hits the free throw, Portland will have their first lead since 7 minutes left in the first quarter and end a long climb out of a 20-point hole, which they've, of course, come back and tied now at 57.
Well, that's a good sign, because if they're going to run for the playoffs, they've got to deal with adversity. But the Celtics also has to respond the same way Portland did when they were 20 down.
It's Tony Delk. And Tony Delk won a national championship in '96 at Kentucky when he was the NCAA's most outstanding player. Buries it, his first 2 points tonight.
Well, and that's the first time they got in the open court, their defense, and that's what got them the big lead in the first quarter was the defense and off the turnovers, the points. And now they're not creating any turnovers.
Pippen to Patterson. And the Blazers come back to tie it again, now at 59.
I think Boston's only scored 20 points in the last 20 minutes of basketball. You know, they're scoring at a clip of 48 points a game.
Celtics have hit only 1 3 since the first quarter. They got 6 for the game. Delk with the 3. Caught right between the eyes. And it's 62-59 Boston.
Well, and that's impressive that Delk is responding. And I think that this is what the Celtics have to do. I mean, they have to be more aggressive defensively. They definitely have to look to help inside, because it's quite obvious that Portland's trying to take advantage of their size. But the Celtics have got to definitely rejuvenate a little bit, get that same flair they had early in the game.
Another rebound by Walker, who's got 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 9 points. That's Boston's first rebound in this quarter.
Well, Tony Delk is a guy that can get your offense going. He's been suffering from a sprained ankle. He's not 100% yet, but he can flat out shoot. The guy scored 51 points in a game 2 years ago for Phoenix.
Paul Pierce back in and heard from immediately. He's got 26 quarter. It's a pass for Patterson inside for Davis. Patterson saying it was ricocheted off a defending Celtic player. Not the case. Boston gets it back.
Well, right here, Grant done a good job getting good position right there. Tries to get the flop. Doesn't really get the call. Beautiful move by Wallace.
Here come the Celtics shooting 45%. Here's for 3. Good! Every chamber is filled tonight for Paul Pierce. He's got 30 points.
He has to.
He's a very good rebounder.
Inside, Pierce pulls the trigger. We're tied at 67. That's our 3rd tie in this third quarter. The Blazers, as we talked about, have won 22 of 28. And they're just that far away from the Pacific Division leading Sacramento Kings, and Phoenix not that far behind. And the Lakers are continuing to look. The Lakers are a half game and back of Houston even to get in the playoff picture in the Western Conference.
They're coming. The Lakers are coming. They're not going to catch Portland nor Sacramento, I'm sure. But Sacramento, they're going through some injury problems, and they're been kind of hold down the fort. But Bobby Jackson's coming back soon. Pollard's coming back soon. And and Weber should be back fairly soon.
Pierce made the first of his 2 free throws.
Well, and again, they're trying to go inside, but they didn't get in on the entry to take advantage of the height. But they're throwing balls away. The Blazers are throwing balls away sometimes in doing that.
And here comes Pippen. A fresh 24, minute and a half to play. Ruben Patterson against Pierce. And this is for the lead. And again, they can't get over the hump. They've tied them after being 20 down, but they can't get the lead. Walker through traffic. and had it stripped away, shot clock at 18.
And Ruben Patterson is very angry, but Paul Pierce did a great job defensively right there. That was not a foul. Good no call by the officials. Patterson leaning in, trying to get that fourth foul on Paul Pierce. I'm glad the officials did not fall for that.
18 to shoot. Here's Pierce with 31 points. Blazers are plus 14 at the free throw line tonight. They've just gotten there far more than Boston. Here's Delk launching a three. Good! Tony Delk, heard from again from Brownsville, Tennessee, nails the three. He's got 8 points all in this third quarter.
And that's tough when your defense has to extend to the three-point line to trap a guy that's so hot like Paul Pierce. It's so hard to rotate and recover at the weak side three-point line.
Rasheed Wallace answers with a triple.
And they better be careful, too, because if you start to lead these guys, they're starting to get their rhythm a little bit better for the outside shooting. Scottie Pippen was the one that set Anderson up the last time. He's so big, he penetrated the defense, collapsed, and he found Anderson. Anderson's just circling around the three-point line as he's doing now.
Pippen to Anderson. Maneuvers and lost the defender in the way. Danny, what happened to the Boston defense and Delk?
Well, you know, Tony's playing on 1.5 ankles out there, too. And Anderson's very quick off the dribble. He's been getting to the free throw line. He's feeling good about himself after knocking down that three. And it's just tough. These Portland guys can really score, and they got a lot of guys out there to defend.
Sweet stroke by Antoine Walker with 13 points.
They're hanging along. You know, you just sit here and you wonder, they're still down only 1 point to hit the Celtics, and they still have a chance, but you just wonder how much they can do.
Patterson knifing his way down the lane. You see the three-point shooting right there.
This is what Antoine has to do right here. He just takes it off the dribble. 3 Blazers all around him. Walter McCarty wide open. And then the next time down the court, he swings it over. They move the ball. He keeps moving his body, and he frees himself. You've got to pay attention to Antoine out there. Wall's falling asleep a little bit, leaving him open.
Jimmy O'Brien just got a technical foul. Vin Baker just was tagged with his 4th personal foul. Derek Anderson up the line and 84% free throw shooting. 9.5 to play in this fourth quarter. Boston is led by 20. It's taken Portland most of the game to climb out of that gigantic hole. Blazers led early by 7 points. Derek Anderson said a good job.
Well, he came over and told me and asked me, what did I tell you? He told me, wait till the fourth quarter.
Oh, another technical foul on O'Brien, I believe. And he may be gone. It is. He's ejected. And you don't need to be a lip reader to tell what he just said.
No, he earned it. We're going to go sit with Tony Batilla there and discuss defensive rebounding in the locker room.
Well, the rebounding story is just sick because the Blazers are plus 18 overall in rebounding tonight. I'm guessing that Dick Carter is going to take over the bench for the Boston Celtics, the one-time head coach of the then Charlotte Hornets. But the official on the near side, Pat Frayer, who is a rookie NBA official, is the one that teed up Jim O'Brien. That last one came from across the court.
Well, yeah, he just said something along the lines, you're not very good.
Hey, did you ever get a tee, Danny, when you played?
Oh, are you kidding me? You're not getting a tee, you're not playing. You got to have some fun out there.
And you certainly didn't have to be a lip reader to tell him. And he meant it.
He meant it, John, with all his might. He meant it. 9.5 to play. Boston shooting 46% from the field.
This is where Celtics are so tough with the traps and all, because most of their guys are behind the line.
Pippen knocks it away with those long arms. 5 seconds, 4 seconds.
Go to
the shot clock.
Go to trap him, Kevin. Most of the time somebody's open because it's hard to rotate with everybody behind the three-point line like that.
Well, they run a screen and roll for Tony Delk out top. And, I mean, Vin Baker doesn't even set a screen. He just runs away from it. I mean, there's just, the execution is awful.
Pippen with 9 rebounds. He's only taken 1 shot. There's the second. Pierce has a game-high 32. Dancing on Bonzi Wells, and a foul on Paul Pierce. And that is number 4 on the former Kansas Jayhawk.
This is a move by Rasheed Wallace you're talking about. Most of the time, a big guy will get suckered into a charge by doing this. He picked this spot, slid sideways, and rolled the finger, rolled it right in the basket.
That's a great move. You know, Brimmer's another guy who would qualify as a better two-point shooter than three-point shooter as well. But Wells, you know, Pierce is having to fight. He's having to score a lot of points, create offense for the Celtics, and he's going against two excellent guys that match him in size, strength, and speed in Bonzi Wells and Ruben Patterson. They're tag teaming him.
Great pass by Shammond Williams into Eric Williams. Shammond Williams in his 5th year out of North Carolina. A foul called on Sabonis. He has 3.
Depends on who. If you take Eric Williams tonight, Grant Long, J.R. Brimmer, Walter McCarty, who I think are better two-point shooters, they're 3 for 14. They only have to make 5 out of 14 to do better from inside the three-point line.
Well, and the other difference, and you're absolutely correct, it's an established philosophy, and it works for them, so they should use it. That's a carryover from the Rick Pitino days, because Rick's philosophy is that way too. Come down, you take the 3. But the difference is also the disparity in fouls. That when you are going inside with some of those twos, as the Blazers are doing, you get the opponent in foul trouble.
Boston 8 of 15 at the free throw line. The Blazers 26 of 35. Pretty good disparity there. 20 more free throw attempts for Portland than Boston. One more note on that three-point shooting tonight in particular. Boston plus 27 points from three-point range, so it does have an effect.
Right, and again, I like it as a philosophy if that's what you're going to do, but I just think that you better get you better get three-point shooters to make them. The shooter.
And they don't have anybody that really has a significant post-up game, you know, so really, I mean, Jimmy O'Brien's done a smart thing. He's looked at what his assets were and tried to utilize it.
Jump ball violation, gives it back to the Portland Trail Blazers.
What they've tried to utilize is Paul Pierce. He's doing it from everywhere. Free throws, three-pointers, creating offense for his teammates, double teams.
Pippen feeds Bonzi Wells. Scottie Pippen has only scored 2 points, but he's got 10 rebounds and 8 assists tonight.
And he's controlling this game, Kevin. I mean, he's definitely showing his knowledge and experience and his intelligence out there. He's definitely the kind of settling force that this Blazer team needs.
Oh, Shammond Williams, who grew up in the Bronx, nails that shot. He came in that Seattle trade with Vin Baker last year.
And that's the strength of his game. You know, now Brimmer is a nice player, better defensive player than Shammond, and Brimmer is 2 for 9 from the three-point line. I guarantee you, Shammond Williams got those same 9 shots. He'd knock down at least 3 or 4 of them, and maybe 7 of them.
It's a foul on Antoine Walker. He's got it. Man, you can feel the vibration all the way over here. 3 fouls now on Scottie Pippen. Well, Pierce is at the free throw line. Tonight he is 5 of 8.
Well, the key was with Scottie's feet outside the dotted line, because it looked like he definitely took it in the middle of his chest.
Sometimes those replays over top are dangerous, aren't they? Because the crowds have a chance to see them and react to them.
No one takes more free throws and makes more free throws in the NBA than Paul Pierce. Number 1 in free throws attempted and free throws made.
Well, you know, he carries such an offensive burden, and I think Paul Pierce, he needs another guy out there. And I know Antoine Walker, they need a point guard or a center that can take a little bit of pressure off of them, so they don't have to just create every offensive possession.
Bonzi Wells with 7. Wells is averaging 15 a game.
Scottie's really a problem because of his size, too. I tell you what, you know, Bonzi deserves a lot of credit for hitting that shot, but Scottie deserves a hell of a lot of credit for how he's orchestrating this offense coming down the stretch here.
When you got that many options, it's not that difficult, but Scottie's one of the smartest players in the league. With all the experience in NBA Finals and championships, he's been and seen it all.
Pierce tried to pull a Houdini.
And in order for the Blazers to go distance, I mean, Scottie has proven tonight he doesn't have to score points, but he has to play very well defensively and orchestrating this offense for this team to go deep into the playoffs.
Wallace has 30, was going to give it off to Anderson. They fumbled away, another turnover. 23. They get 22 turnovers for the Blazers tonight. Celtics with 14. A 3 by Walker. Williams, foul balls at the Shammond Williams, and the Celtics keep it alive.
And the Blazers had a mental breakdown defensively out there. You can't leave Walker that open.
These are the two number 4 teams in their respective conferences. The playoff race now. Shamon Williams with the miss. Rebound by Bonzi Wells.
And that was a different type of shot. Here he is coming off a screen, kind of going away from the basket, rather than a shot that they're creating to him and off of penetration and kicking to him.
Scottie Pippen into Davis. And a rebound by McCarty.
Great pass by Pippen right there. Davis will make that most times. Look at Pierce. He brings the ball up the court. That guy has to earn everything he gets.
Paul Pierce shot. McCarty for 3. Good! Walter McCarty buries a 3-point shot. It's a 3-point Boston lead.
And again, it was all set up by Paul Pierce. He took the entire Blazer team out and gave Walter McCarty a wide open 3-point shot.
That is the 13th 3-point hit by the Boston Celtics tonight, as they have launched on the evening 36 threes. They live and die by the 3, and right now they're living large, leading by 3 at the Rose Garden. 3 minutes. They've missed their last 4 shots. Pippen for 3, and Pippen tonight 0 of 4. Under a minute to play. Here comes Walker to McCarty. Can you believe Boston might have a chance to win this game?
I can't believe when Jim O'Brien left the game, I thought that was kind of it. But this team has picked up, and it's actually been a spark. Maybe we should give Jim O'Brien the MVP.
Oh, Walker trying to throw the dagger down and ties! And he makes the steal at midcourt, and that could seal the fate of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Well, Scottie Pippen's had a good game, but 2 big turnovers in the 4th quarter. That one right there, and the one where he didn't get the ball inbounds after a basket. Scottie's almost going to get a triple-double. He's got 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and now 7 turnovers.
I'm seeing a lot of that comes from the fact that Paul Pierce requires so much attention. If you don't guard him, he's going to score. If you guard him, now he's going to hit somebody. As I said earlier, it creates a problem when you have a guy that's individually that good, and he requires so much attention. And I felt that the Blazers were in trouble, and they are now.
Shamon Williams hits the free throw. How about on this long 6-game, 11-day Western Conference road trip by the Celtics? They win in Seattle on Tuesday. They're about ready to win here in Portland tonight. This is one of the hottest. In fact, Portland is the hottest single team right now in the NBA. And Boston may come out with their 2nd consecutive win on the trip, their 3rd overall, and their 3rd consecutive win here inside the Rose Garden.
Well, 2 tough losses back-to-back at San Antonio, or here against San Antonio the night for Portland. But I'll tell you what, you got to give credit. This Boston team, they showed some toughness, some heart out there. Even the role players are getting the loose balls, diving on the ball, making all the defensive stops when they need it. And a lot of heart and courage out there. Makes you proud to be a Celtic, doesn't it, Coach?
No. Yes, it does. I mean, and I think both teams have shown grit tonight. The Blazers were behind by 20. They caught up. Then the Celtics, we questioned a little bit whether they were going to have the energy. They came back with the grit. You know, these teams are really competing, and this is the way you want to see a team play. But Paul Pierce is the kind of guy that he can take it over at the end.
Pippen for 3, rebound Boston, and that should do it. Antoine Walker, 19 points, authoring 9 of those 19 in this 4th quarter. Looks like the Blazers are going to concede. And the Celtics in the 4th slot right now in the Eastern Conference playoff race will win their 3rd consecutive game and beat the Blazers, who commit a season-high 24 turnovers.
You know, and it's always been the knock on the Blazers. They got the great team, all this talent, all this depth, but who's the guy who's going to take over the game for them? We saw Paul Pierce do it, Antoine Walker in Portland. You know, we said they didn't have any All-Stars. You know, they don't have an All-Star to take the game over when they need to.